Hola, clase. Now let's take a look at when we use a direct and indirect object pronoun together, and that is called the double object pronouns. You already know that pronouns replace nouns. That's easy. They replace nouns, pronouns. Now let's take a look at how they used together. Here they are. So here are the indirect object pronouns, the me, te, le, and then we have this little say here, and we'll talk about that in a minute, nos, os, les, and then we have another say. But our direct object pronouns, the ones that we will be using for this, for double object pronouns, will be either a lo, la, los, or las. So that's what you need to remember. When it comes to double object pronouns, the direct object pronoun will be a lo, la, los, or las. So let's take a look at the first sentence right here. It says, El camarero me muestra el menú. So the waiter shows what? The menu to whom? To me. So your direct object noun is menú. That's what he's showing. Who is he showing it to? Me. That's your indirect. So what we're going to do is replace the direct with a lo. And what you need to remember for double object pronouns is that the indirect object pronoun always precedes the direct object pronoun. So we have in the rewrite using two pronouns, el camarero me lo muestra. And the lo comes from el menú. Here in the second one, nos sirven los platos. They serve us the dishes. So they serve what? Los platos. That's the direct object. The pronoun is going to be los because it's male and it's plural. So who are they serving it to? They're serving it to us. So our double object pronouns, the indirect and then the direct. Nos los sirven. They serve them to us. The final one says, Maribel te pidió una hamburguesa. What did she order? A hamburger. For whom? For you. So this is your direct, hamburger. The pronoun, because it's feminine, singular, is a la. And the indirect is a person, you, te. So the rewrite would be Maribel te la pidió. She ordered it for you. Here's some more examples using questions and then answers. So pay attention to this. So now let's take a look at some questions with answers using two pronouns. That's an indirect and then a direct. Remember, indirect comes first and then a direct. So the question for number one says, ¿Quién me compra las entradas? So we have the answer right here, mi papá. And remember, whenever you have a me in a question, you're going to come back with a te. That's the indirect, because who's buying what? The tickets. That's the direct. Your pronoun's going to be las. And so, for whom? Well, for you. Mi papá te las compra. My dad is buying you the tickets. Now let's take a look at number two. ¿Quién te da el pastel? Here's the answer right here. Who is giving you the cake? The cake is the direct object. Here's your indirect, te. But remember, whenever there's a te in a question, you come back with a me. So you're going to say, mi hermana me, and then the direct object, pastel, it's masculine singular, so it's going to be lo, and then the verb, da. So I'd like you to try number three as I move on to a couple more. So try number four also, and number five, and tomorrow we'll go through these in class. The next class, and maybe tomorrow, may not. As you know, I always forget to say the next class. I'm going to cross this out for you too. So try these two, and we'll put them up on the board tomorrow. Muchas gracias. But let's continue because we have a little bit more to do. Now let's take a look when people who receive the action of the verb indirectly are third person. In other words, a ley or a lace. Well, here's the Spanish phenomenon. Whenever ley or lace are next to a lo, las, la, or las, I should say lo, los, la, or las, they change to a se. That is, the ley or the lace will change to a se. This is a Spanish phenomenon, clase. So here's an example. Le escribí la carta. I wrote him the letter. I wrote what? The letter. That's the direct object. The pronoun is la. It's using the le for the receiver, to him. I wrote the letter to him. In the rewrite, you're going to say, se la escribí. The se was originally the le, but because it's next to the la there, it's got to change to a se. That's the Spanish phenomenon. Whenever le or lace are next to lo, los, la, and las, it changes to a se. Likewise, le sirvió los sandwiches. He served them the sandwiches. He served what? Sandwiches. That's a los. To whom? To them. That's a lace. In the rewrite, using two pronouns, se lo sirvió. The se would be, or originally was, a lace, but because it's next to the direct object pronoun los, it changes to a se. And sometimes because the se has so many different meanings, you may have to clarify using a prepositional phrase like a usted, a él, a ella, a ustedes, a ellos, a ellas. El sombrero, Carlos se lo vendió a ella. Now we know that that se is referring to her. That hat, Carlos sold it. There's the lo right there, referring to hat, to her. Las verduras, ellos se las compran a usted. So the se is referring to a usted. The vegetables, they buy them for you. The las is referring to verduras. Now let's take a look at more ejemplos, clase, using more questions. So let's take a look at number 1. ¿Quién les da el examen a los alumnos? So before we do this, let's take a look. Les is referring to los alumnos. In other words, los alumnos are the indirect object noun. Its pronoun is les. So who is giving what? The exam. To the students. And of course, el profesor. So you're going to say el profe, just to make this shorter. El profe. And the les is going to change to a se because it's next to the direct object pronoun lo. El profesor se lo da. We already know what the se refers to. It refers to los alumnos. So who is giving the test to the students? The professor is giving it, that's the lo, meaning the exam, to them. That's the se. Originally was the les. So I'd like you to try number 2. Get ready in class. We'll review this. And so how about number 3 and 4? Can you do number 3 and 4 in class tomorrow? Here they are. You're going to use two pronouns, and be careful who receives the object. Be careful. And we'll practice a little bit more in class tomorrow. And there's a couple more things I'd like to bring up. The placement of double object pronouns. Generally, they're before the conjugated verb. However, just like we remember before when we use pronouns, we can also use them with infinitives. And if you are using infinitives and present participles, they may be attached. So they may be placed before the conjugated verb or attached to the end of the infinitive or the present participle. Te lo voy a mostrar and voy a mostrártelo is the same thing. Some people prefer to put it before the form verb. Some people prefer to attach it to the infinitive. Here's the infinitive right there. Likewise, nos las están sirviendo before the form verb, which is están, or you may attach because you're using a present participle. The present participle, once again, is the ing form of the verb, the present participle. Están sirviéndonos las. And so, class A, whenever you attach double object pronouns to an infinitive or a present participle, you have to write the accent mark on the original stress. And so we go back to sirviendo. Sirviendo, the natural stress occurs right here. Whenever you put nos and las, attaching the double object pronoun, you go back to that natural stress and you write the accent mark. And we'll practice this in class. And so, we'll practice more in class tomorrow. We'll take the quiz for the double object pronouns in class tomorrow, just to make sure you know how to do these. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos.